Okay. Wenye wanabaki.
Bye.
Okay. Wenye wanabaki.
Bye.
What? International airport? What did you where are we going?
A natural airport.
Which airport?
Lax.
LAX, right? Say LAX. What's relax? Okay. Hello guys, welcome back again to our channel. As you can tell, summer is here with us, and that means one thing and one thing only. We gotta pack up the team and we are heading off to Kenya. I'm just so excited that the kids are out of school. I'm also on summer break, and so thankfully that means I can go spend time in Kenya with the kids and the family and all that. Unfortunately, one of the key team members, my wife, cannot join us this time around because her schedule does not allow her to do this. But nonetheless, the three of us, myself and the two kids, are heading off to Kenya. We are starting off out of Los Angeles International Airport. And typically the trip from our home in Long Beach to the airport is about 25 to 30 minutes on a good day. Now, on some days, that can be 2 hours plus. But thankfully, we had a 9 o'clock flight. And that's at a good time because we are basically driving against traffic. And as you can see from this video, there's barely any traffic going to the airport. Now, from the airport is a whole different scenario. Now, this time around, we are taking a flight from Los Angeles straight to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. And that is anticipated to be about 15-hour trip. And then we have about 3-hour layover, which is good because then moving from one end of the terminal to the next shouldn't be as big of a deal. I personally don't like very tight layovers. That is, any layover that is under 3 hours, because again, the challenge with traveling kids alone is massive. Just making sure that you can move them from one point to another and your carry-on and their toys and all that. Yeah, so because of all that, I usually prefer to have some layover between 3 hours and maybe 5 hours. Now, anything longer can be a challenge too, because, you know, kids get a little anxious when they have to stay in a particular spot for a while. So this is just a perfect trip. 15-hour one flight, about a 3-hour layover, and then we'll take the last leg from Jeddah to Nairobi, which is roughly about 3 hours. And I like that too because the last leg is a very short trip. So come along with us. All right, folks. The one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that our final destination is the city of Kisumu in Kenya. So essentially across the entire trip, we're going to take 3 different planes. When we land in Nairobi, which is the busiest airport in Kenya, we have about another 3-hour layover because our flight lands around 5 in the morning. And my preference usually is that I land at the Nairobi airport and I don't even have to leave the airport. So when we land at 5, we will go through the customs and all that, which isn't very intense. And then I'll meet up with my sisters and my in-laws, hang out, enjoy some Kenyan tea. And then we'll be taking another flight from Nairobi to Kisumu. And that is usually a very short flight. It's about 30 minutes. And across all these trips, that is the one flight that I look forward to, the flight from Nairobi to Kisumu, when I know I'm finally landed home. Oh, and by the way, you guys notice that my little girl has ripped pants. Well. Now we are all checked in at this point. Now, for those of you who are traveling to Kenya for the first time or who have not traveled to Kenya recently, they've made a few changes with regard to visa and all that. My kids don't have Kenyan passports yet. That's one of the main things I'm going to be working on when I get to Kisumu this summer. Now, anybody traveling on a non-Kenyan passport is required to pay for something they call the ETA. I think it's some kind of like a low-key version of a visa. It's not terribly expensive. It's about $30 or so. But also, you want to be aware that there's a lot of scammers who have set up websites that are similar to the Kenyan consulate website. And so be careful not to pay the wrong amounts in the wrong website. Some people get shocked when they get to the airport and they realize that whatever they paid actually does not qualify as the Kenyan ETA. So I nearly made that mistake, but because I knew how much it cost, I had to call the Kenyan consulate to confirm. So I paid for my 2 kids, cost me about $69 in total, but I'm committed to not paying that again. In part because my kids are Kenyan citizens. They are dual citizens, and they deserve to have Kenyan passports. So I'm gonna get them that, so that next time I don't have to pay visa for the 2. So once you check in, they confirm your ETA and all that. You get your boarding pass printed. Then you run into the next problem, especially with the Los Angeles International Airport. Now, the distance between where we checked in and where the gate at which we are going to board the airport is so long, it probably takes maybe 25 to 30 minute walk. And when I'm walking by myself, that's not a problem. But when I have 2 toddlers who are slightly hungry and tired, it's not fun. So thankfully this time around, I actually ran into a very nice young woman that told me about these carts that we are sitting on right now. They are courtesy carts. And all you have to do is sit at a particular spot. When they come in, they'll give you a ride to whichever terminal you're heading. Mostly when I see them, I assume that folks that use this are folks who have other mobility needs. But maybe ours would also count as unique mobility needs, quote unquote, because having a 3-year-old walk for 30 minutes is not fun. We've done this twice and it was not fun. So this time around, we were given this plug and then we took advantage. So they gave us a ride all the way close to the terminal where we were headed. They didn't quite get to the terminal because we needed to take an elevator. But this plug was a lifesaver. And it comes in handy, especially when you're really on a time crunch. Last December, when I was traveling, I only had about maybe 20 minutes to get to the gate. And it was such a hassle running for 20 to 30 minutes with kids. This time around, I had none of that. And then, of course, I made certain that I left home earlier. So even though my flight was at 9 p.m., we were out of the house, I think, by a little after 5. Because again, part of it is our unpredictable traffic. So there was none of that. But even with those many hours in advance, by the time I got everything done, the kids set up and waiting to board, we only had about maybe 20 to 30 minutes to spare. And again, given the time that we were traveling, I also carried dinner. So after we found the gate, had the kids eat, and we just played around. And again, because of their age, we get quote-unquote priority boarding, which gives us enough time to get the kids set up, all seated, and they get onto their electronics, and they're ready to go. So again, in the future, if you find yourself in this spot, take advantage of the courtesy cards.